Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Poor Man Mods. Now I know Harbor Freight is one of those stores where a lot of people love it or a lot of people hate it. I'm one of those guys, I actually do like the store a lot. Now I know a lot of their stuff is junk, some of their stuff is okay, and some of their stuff is really good. I'd say 10% or less of my tool selection is from Harbor Freight, but today I'm going to talk about 6 tools or products from Harbor Freight that I actually do truly love and highly recommend. But before we get started, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and leave a comment down below what your favorite tool from Harbor Freight is. So number 1 on my list is their hose nozzle. I guess this is mainly for washing cars. I'm not sure what they actually call it though, but it's your typical, like garden hose nozzle. You can choose, your standard settings: cone, center, jet, mist, flood, that typical shower head thing. Just your typical garden hose settings, but it does have this container down here where you can put soap in. So I know a lot of people really do love foam cannons. I know my friend Chaz and Brad, they really love like the Adams foam cannon. I've never been a huge fan of the foam cannon just because of how expensive it is and how much soap that you use. Now it does create, cool effects, and it's great for Instagram pictures and stuff. But for the price of it, I just can't justify it. And this is kind of a poor man's foam cannon. So I believe that this was $10 from Harbor Freight. And what I do with this is I put soap in here. And, I'll rinse the car off first with the jet stream. But then I'll turn the soap on and then turn this on mist. Now, this doesn't foam it, like that $100 foam cannon. But it gets it kind of close. It does a fine mist of soap and suds all over the car. So it's kind of like a poor man's foam cannon. And what I do, car detailing people may cringe, but I'm not really into detailing. But what I like to do is spray the mist on with the soap, get it really saturated with the soap. Then I'll take a wet microfiber sponge, wash the car that way, and then rinse it off. So I'm not actually dunking my mitt into a soapy bucket. I'm applying the soap to the car, rubbing it, and then rinsing it off and rinsing out the sponge. I really like it, and I think this is great for 10 bucks. It's like the same price as your standard nozzle, but you get this attachment where you can spray soap and not spray soap. And I freaking love it, and I really, really do recommend it. But if you're a full-time detailer or really into that kind of thing, this probably isn't for you. That foam cannon might be for you, but I really do love this thing. Number 2 on my list is actually their rubber gloves. Now I know some people say real mechanics don't wear gloves, but others say real mechanics do wear gloves. I'm not sure which one is true, but I like to wear rubber gloves just because I hate washing my hands. I don't have a problem with rubber gloves. Some people claim it takes away certain feel or ability to do things. I don't have a problem with it, but I really like their blue 7mm gloves. I have tried their black ones, which are 9mm, and I think these are too thick. The black ones, they just seem too thick to me. They do take away a lot of feel. They don't really hinder your ability to like tighten a bolt or anything, but they do feel really thick, and I don't like it. But I do really, really like their 7mm gloves. And I've tried a lot of rubber gloves, the diamond gloves, I think that's what they're called, and I've tried all kinds of gloves from different places, and they're okay. But for the price, I do really like these, and these seem to be pretty durable. They do not tear easy at all. Their thinner gloves do, but I haven't really had a tearing issue with these 7mm. The 9mm don't tear easily either, but they're too thick for me. I think this is a really good middle of the road, and for the price, it's really hard to beat these. I'm sure there are better gloves out there, but once again, for the price, I really do like these, and right now, these are my go-to gloves and my favorite rubber gloves. So yeah, I do highly recommend these. Number 3 on my list, I get a ton of use out of. See if we can focus it here. This is their Lug Nut Socket set thing. So this isn't the whole kit. I believe there's another socket that comes with this, but I got this one on their clearance shelf because it was an open box and missing the other socket. But what this is a 3-inch, 1/2-inch extension. I believe it's, impact rated. and it comes with a 19 and a 21 millimeter socket. So this side is 19, this side is 21, and this is really good if you're taking wheels off a lot and have different cars. You know, if you only have one car in your fleet, you might not need this, but you know, we have probably 10 different cars coming in and out of this place, and all the lug nuts are different. So what this is, it's kind of our dedicated lug nut socket. And you know, it comes with a 3-inch extension, and this is a longer socket, so it does get into wheels pretty nice. This isn't good for high-end wheels though, or aftermarket wheels. They do have another kind of like protected socket set for those wheels. I don't have that, never used it, but for all the cars that we have here, this isn't a problem at all. So instead of trying to find the right socket in your set for lug nuts and putting a lot of abuse on those, you have this dedicated guy. So if you have a 21 millimeter lug nut, you can keep it like this. You go to try it on. Oh, it's not a 21, it must be another size. Let's flip it around and try the 19, and usually it is it. So this makes it a lot quicker to find the right size. And I like having this around, and it gives you, you know, another extension. It just makes it easier and quicker when taking off wheels, so you don't have to find the right socket. Like, I know where I have this at all times basically, and this is my go-to. If I'm taking a wheel off a car, I immediately go to this one, and I've never had it to where it wasn't the 21 or 19. Now we're dealing with mostly imports here, so they are either 19 or 21 most of the time if they're not aftermarket lug nuts. So this gets it right almost every single time, and I love it. You know, as you can see, it is very worn. It has never broken. You know, put a lot of torque on it, and it just makes it very easy to find the right size. And it's a 2-in-1, so if you don't have a 19 or 21, you go and get this and you'll have it. And I believe the other one that comes with this is the standard size. I'm not good with those measurements, but yeah, you should get another socket with this set. And yeah, I do recommend it. It makes things a lot quicker and easier. If you only have one car in your fleet, maybe not get this. You probably won't need it, but if you're like me, have a couple cars, and you have friends with different cars, and you know, work on your parents' vehicles, it's going to help you out a lot. So I do highly recommend this. All right, next on my list is their swivel head or pivot head ratchets. I have 3 of them, 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. I absolutely love these things. So this 3/8 swivel head, pivot head ratchet is my go-to ratchet. Anytime I'm going to go to my toolbox and grab a ratchet, this is the one that I go for. It is a finer tooth one. I don't remember how many teeth, maybe 72 or 84 or something like that. But the head swivels, and it makes things so much easier. Especially, I find it really nice when doing brake calipers. You know, if you're working on the bolt, there's not always a lot of room right here, so you can swivel it forward, and it gives you just that little bit of swiveling, gives you a lot of clearance. So it makes things a lot faster and easier. And when something's really loose, go like this, bam, super fast. Makes it really easy to remove bolts. Like I said, this is my go-to ratchet. I have other Craftsman ratchets that are nice, but the pivoting head on this makes practically every situation better and faster. I absolutely love it. Now, I will say this is my 3rd one. I've been using these for 4 years now, maybe 5. The first one I bought lasted about a month. I don't think it was a really high torque situation that I was using it in, but the gears like locked up, and basically it was locked. Like, it wouldn't ratchet in either direction. It was just stuck. And you know, they do warranty their stuff, so I took it back and they gave me another one, no problem at all. And that one I think lasted a day. That one, I think the gears did break or whatever. Like, it just completely destroyed itself. And that was really irritating. I took it back, and it's been probably 4 years now at least that I've had this one. And I've used this in all kinds of situations, high torque situations, throwing it, dropping it. And this one has, you know, kind of stood the test of time for a $15 ratchet. As you can see, it is very, very used. This is my go-to ratchet, and I loved it so much that I did buy it in the 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch it really does make things a lot easier. The half-inch one, the half-inch one is shorter for a half-inch ratchet, I would say. You know, it's not too much longer than the 3/8, so you're really not getting a whole lot of torque out of the half-inch one. So it might not be good for a really high torque situation, but the pivoting head really does make life a lot easier. And like I said, I really do like using this when doing brakes. I think, you know, getting the caliper bolts and the bracket bolts back there, it really does make this a lot easier. And then once things are loose, if you do have the room, this really speeds things up, and I really do like it. Now, Gear Wrench makes basically the same ratchet for, it's not double the price, maybe 25 or 30% more. If you can afford the Gear Wrench one, sure, go for it. They are going to have the same warranty. I guess whichever one is easier for you to get or to replace, I'd recommend. If I don't know, like if I bought a Gear Wrench one, I don't know where I would go to return it, just because of my location. Harbor Freight for me, I'm there pretty often, so it makes sense for me to get the Harbor Freight one. But I'm sure the Gear Wrench one is just as good, if not maybe a touch better. But either way, I highly recommend these, and these will make your life a whole lot easier. You will not regret getting one of these. All right, let's talk about power tools now, shall we? Now, I do know that Harbor Freight, they've gotten into the higher end market with some of their more expensive power tools, and they've always kind of had really crappy power tools too. Their Drill Master stuff, I would definitely stay away from. I do have a Drill Master heat gun, but it did go up, but it's only like 10 bucks. I think that one lasted like a year, maybe two, and had to buy a new one. But their Drill Master drills and stuff like that, I would definitely stay away from. Their Chicago lineup, I think that's what this is. Their Chicago lineup isn't too bad. I have 3 Chicago tools. I have their Sawzall, which the safety guard on that broke off a couple years ago, but other than that, it saws without a problem. I've been using that, I think probably 6 or 7 years now. Yeah, I bought that Sawzall when I turboed my Sentra like, 7 years ago. So it's lasted 7 years, and it was like a $30 Sawzall, but that safety guard did fall off. I wouldn't really recommend that Sawzall. Like, it's been doing me okay, but you can spend a couple extra bucks and definitely get a better one. But this, I absolutely love and would highly recommend it. This is a portable belt sander. I believe this is a 1/2 inch wide belt, and this thing is really nifty, and it's come in handy a lot. So I want to say this is $30, maybe $35. It's essentially, you know, their angle grinder with a belt sander attachment on it. And this thing is freaking sweet. It's really good for deburring like exhaust pipe if you cut a pipe. Anything a belt sander is good for. One thing that I used it for, and it's the only tool that could have done it, on my 1JZ right there, I kind of machined out the valley where the ignition coils go to make room for larger ignition coils. And since this is really long and skinny, I was able to get down in there and remove a lot of material with this belt. So, and they do make different grit belts. I'm not sure which one this is, but they do make different grits for this, and it's a really freaking handy tool. Now, if you're not into fabricating and making stuff, this might not be the tool for you. If you're just kind of a DIY mechanic, you know, just doing your brakes and oil, you probably don't need this. But if you have a race car like this, or you like making stuff, I highly recommend this. They do have it in a pneumatic version as well. I'm not a big fan of air tools. I've always liked my electric tools, and I've had this for over a year now, and I really do like it. The belts are not too expensive. I think they're really cheap, and they don't break that easily. This one does have a tear on it. I don't remember what I was using it for, but it does have a tear, and it hasn't snapped yet. I'm sure it will very soon, though. But yeah, for the money, it's really hard to beat this. And it's really good for, you know, working underneath a car. If there's some stupid metal bracket that you need to trim, or anything really up inside a car, you know, where an angle grinder or Sawzall can't go, and you need to remove a little bit of material, this has got your back. and it hasn't let me down yet. So I do highly recommend their portable belt sander. All right, number 6, if you're familiar with my channel, shouldn't be a surprise at all, and that is my Harbor Freight or US General rolling tool cart. I absolutely love this thing for the price. It's really hard to beat for the quality that it is and how many tools it can hold. I think I paid $180 for this thing, and of course I have since modified it, but I absolutely love it. Being able to roll it around and it not being too heavy is freaking awesome. It holds just the amount of tools that I need. I did add a little storage on the back, but for the price, 180 bucks, you cannot beat this toolbox at all. For $180, you might find something that can hold tools better, but it might not roll as nice or be as easy and comfortable to use. So I do really like, you know, the lift up tray here with all your sockets and stuff inside. I love that feature. Basically, I have all my gloves, safety goggles, and my sockets right here, ready to go. You know, the most commonly used tools right up top for easy access. And what I did up top was I glued some of Harbor Freight's foam padding up here to protect it, because I do use it as a workbench or a leaning bench. But yeah, this is a really, really good bang for your buck toolbox. If you're looking, you know, to expand your tool storage, if you're, you know, just a weekend warrior, just starting out, you know, working on cars, you really can't beat this toolbox. I absolutely freaking love it. The only complaint that I have with this toolbox is how each drawer does lock, but there's only one tab on the drawer to grab to unlock it. So it's not like the snap-on ones where it's all the way across the handle. You know, you are getting what you pay for with this. There's only one little tab, so that's kind of annoying, but once you get used to it, it's not that big of a deal. But other than that, I have absolutely no complaints about this thing. The floor in this place is absolutely atrocious. It's very rough. There's pits and cracks and, you know, all kinds of stuff on the floor here. And the casters are holding up really well. I haven't seen one break, haven't noticed a bearing fall out. So this thing has stood the test of time in this shop so far. So I absolutely love this thing and highly recommend it if you're looking for a smaller toolbox. You know, if you're a weekend warrior, if you're a full-time tech, this isn't the toolbox for you. But if you're a guy like me, just wrenching on the weekends and having some fun, you can't go wrong with this thing. All right, so those are the 6 products from Harbor Freight that I do truly love and recommend for you guys. Now, Harbor Freight did not sponsor this video at all. I just wanted to share this information with you guys and share my opinion, because I've been using all of these products. Each one I've been using for over a year. So I definitely have experience with all of them and thought I would give you my thoughts on them and maybe it would help you out. Can you find these products somewhere else for a similar price? Probably. I know these ratchets here, you can find them in Gear Wrench for a little bit more. So you can find these at other places, maybe a little bit more, maybe higher quality, but for the price of everything that you see here, I really don't think you can beat it. If you can afford to get a higher end one, like if you can afford the Gear Wrench ratchets, sure, go for it. But for Harbor Freight, can't go wrong with these. I absolutely love them. If any of these break, I will buy it again from Harbor Freight without a question. I love everything that you see here. I will have links to all of these products in the description down below. And also, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite tool from Harbor Freight is, if you have one. Or do you have any bad experiences with Harbor Freight? Also, let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something, and I will see you next time. Thanks.